How was your sonograph?
My sonogram looks great.
Okay. Well, what's a sonograph then? Was that like the old version, like a telegraph version of a sonogram?
I don't know. Didn't we used to do that in geometry? It's like a TI-85.
Sonograph is how you see your baby, right?
Yeah, the sonogram is how you make instant classics.
That's right.
What was your... This might be a hot topic, but what was your favorite graphing calculator? Mine was the TI-85.
Yeah, that's why it came first to mind.
Yeah, I know there were some people... Coulson, you strike me as a TI-82 kind of guy.
Are you assuming I didn't go very far in math? Is that what you're assuming? You would be correct.
Joey's trying to give you an out with an inferior calculator. I think you should grasp onto that lifeboat right there.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
It wasn't user error. It was equipment error. Is that what you're saying?
It could be both.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That must be Jeremiah. Put the instrument down.
That train is off the tracks.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. This is episode 760. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gafrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss Game 2, Pacers-Bucks, Eastern Conference, quarterfinals? I don't know, the first round of the playoffs. Joining me this show are two of our three analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks in the crappy jingles, if necessary, John Coulson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out this week to Undebeated Nation. I need you to do me a favor. I ended up somehow on Reddit, and they were talking about Pacer podcasts, and in the conversation, we weren't listed. Like the Paceroos and shit were listed, so I couldn't figure out how to join Reddit or put our name in. So I just need the fans out there that have Reddit accessible to them. Go ahead and add our name to the conversation about Pacer podcasts. Thank you for your help.
We're gonna
thank you for your service.
List.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to seriously double think Coulson as our IT guy. This is not working out great.
Yeah. You know what though? We save a lot of money.
We sure do. He's true.
I do not charge a lot.
From Tacoma, Washington, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Shout out podcast today. Unlike my co-hosts, no one has to look at my super grainy video today. So this is why I'm also not the IT guy. It's probably an upgrade for you guys.
Well, it's almost like you went back in time and then decided to podcast somehow in the future with your older technology.
Yeah, now that I'm pixelated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that I'm using less of my brain mass to, project this image, it's can really drill down on the Pacers.
Well, that's what we're here for. And before we get into the show, do want to remind listeners they can support us, the longest running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables And you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. Colson needs that cash for a Reddit account, which he's
What do they charge for Reddit nowadays?
Well, I think you can buy like awards to give away or something, like on posts.
Hey, look, it's $1,000 flat fee. Just send it to me. I'll get you all signed up. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Do you take crypto?
Sure. As long as you give me 1,000 of them.
1,000 of those things. Got it.
Are you able to log in to get your crypto?
Well, I'll have to remember my password, or or go into my notebook.
Yeah. Or ask the Russians.
Well, the reason we've gathered here today is to discuss Game 2. Sorry I missed last show, guys, but we played Game 2 April 22nd, last night as we record. Game is at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse, of course, and Pacers win again, 123-115. This game was closer than Game 1 was, but Pacers really had the Bucks at arm's length for most of the game, and Milwaukee really got within just a couple towards the end of the game. Was it 5?
Got within 2.
Was it 2? Okay.
Yeah, got within 2 after a Lillard tray.
Yeah. So, but then I think following that, Nembhard came back and hit another 3, and then we got a lead again. But sort of, this is game 2. We get the W. Both wins at home. Both the games at home we've won. Big games out of double for Tyrese Halliburton, 21 points and 12 assists. He had, I think, 10 assists like early. And Miles Turner, 15 points, 24 for Siakam, and 11 boards for him. I mean, all 5 starters in double figures, and plus 14 points for Mathurin, a couple timely buckets for Obi Toppin and T.J. McConnell. We saw less from Jarris Walker this game.
Big 3 though.
Yeah, I mean those were his 3 points for the game. So
they were big.
Yeah, he also had 4 boards.
Okay. And on the Milwaukee side,
I like how we led with Jarris Walker tonight. Sorry.
on the Milwaukee side, it was a lot of Giannis. 34 points for him. And again, not too much else out of their players, except for Bobby Portis, who he was great. In 32 minutes, he had 28 points, 12 boards.
Well, as his mom affectionately refers to him, old crazy eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He had 28 points, which was one shy of his playoff career high, which was also against us last year in a Game 5 shellacking of us. So, yeah, apparently he likes to play us.
Yeah. This game was a bit contentious, as most Bucks Pacers games have been recently. There's some jawing and some, some scrums, some scruffles, some discussions, several review for flagrants type of deal. But Pacers come away with the win at the end of the day, guys. We're up 2-0. Colson, how are you feeling right now?
Feel great. I mean, yeah, the Bucks went on I think it was a 13-0 run down the stretch and got it within 2, and I definitely got a little nervous in the last couple minutes. But this is a wire-to-wire victory. We never were behind. And, I think that game we lost to them last year with Bobby Horris went for 29. Chris Middleton also went for 29. But in this game, we withstood 28 from Bobby Portis and 30 some odd points from Giannis. I think we're a more competent team than we were last year. We're a more complete team. We're a more confident team. And I think we're better than this Bucks team. Now, is it going to be difficult once we get to Milwaukee? Sure. This is not going to be an easy series, but we did what we were supposed to do. We won Game 1 and Game 2. I'm proud of the guys.
Yeah, super solid win. Really built on, I thought, what we did in game one. Came out again in the first quarter, set the marker, played hard, 40 in the first frame. Got a little sloppy with the ball in the second half of the first quarter, but we still put up 40. I mean, I think you look at this series and you say to yourself, first team to 120 probably wins. So we shaved off our quarter of the game, with the pace that we were at in that first quarter. We were really getting after it, both sides of the ball. Like I said, a little sloppy. Ty had a couple early turnovers that were a little bit out of character, really maybe unlucky and bad calls, but it is what it is. Second quarter, they played us a little bit more even. At some point in that quarter, the lids went on the rim for us. Like we couldn't get shots to go down a little bit, and that kept them tight with us. They win the second quarter by a pair, but we're up 8 going into the second half. The thing that we really improved upon that I know we had circled was a way better start to the third quarter. We could not come out the way that we came out in game one. And we just came out flaming right out of the locker room, and we're just crushing it. Great energy, great effort, hitting shots. We had the game plan. We had the answers for what they were doing. Great piece of coaching, great leadership from the guys on the floor, good execution. Again, at some point, the lids go back on the rim for both teams in the second half of that quarter, going into the fourth. And we just got a little bit cold. We've been shooting, we've been shooting 50% off the floor. That is not something that you're going to get game after game after game. And
I'd like to, though.
I would love to. I would love to. We end up at 49%, but I think we shot over 60% in the first half, right? And that was after a bit of a cold stretch in and of itself, right? And yes, we let them get close, but guys responded really well. We iced this thing down. Crazy Eyes is crazy eyes. He's going to get his points, apparently. Lillard, a shocking return in 37 minutes of ball.
Yeah.
I thought for sure they'd have that guy in a pitch count, but they said screw it.
He played almost the entire first half. Like what's going on?
I was like, just sit the guy down. Like,
and he hit
he was
a crazy long three, and I thought, oh, here we go. But he ended up having a bad shooting night.
Yeah, I mean,
he had a decent night, but I mean, it's not like he had run us, for 30 in the first half. I mean, he was out there and he was fine. He wasn't hurting them, but.
Yeah, I mean, he had an okay night. He had 7 dimes out of it. He wasn't at his shooting best, 4-13 and 2-8 from the range, but he's finding guys. He had a clutch drive when things were going badly for them. He really, went hard at Nemhard and got a really tough layup. They played a really good game. And, you're going to get, apparently, 35 and, 15 or thereabouts from Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think they threw up a stat that only, 3 guys have ever gone 35 and 15 through their first 2 games and been down 0-2. and they were all Hall of Famers. It was like Wilt was on that list. And so, I mean, it's not a great list to be on, but the company's good, I guess.
Yeah, you'd think 35 and 15 would get you at least one win, right?
It would, but it didn't.
It did not.
What's the club that for the shooters? 50, 40, 90? Are those the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for the day, the Pacers were 49, 44, and 100% from the free throw line.
Not bad.
19 of 19 from the stripe.
Yep. So one thing we had circled on our last show was, we may not be able to get to the line more than them, but we got to keep it close.
Keep it close.
Not only did we match them with 19 trips, we hit 100%. Needless to say, they did not. They missed 6. So hitting, basically 2/3 is not great. They won the rebounding battle, but it was close.
Mm-hmm.
We're negative net 5, but we got 30 dimes on the day on 44 field goals. When we're moving the ball like that, we are just extremely tough to beat. There were some really nice, pass to the extra pass, passing up the good look to get to the great look moments in that game. Yeah, it was it was a good game. We turned the ball over 8 times. If you can keep that in single digits, we're gonna be just fine.
Harper, how you feeling about Halliburton's performance? You know, game 1 he was less dominant. He was sort of a floor general, and he got scored some, but this game more of a scoring role, 21 points.
And a big dunk.
You know, how did you feel? A real nice dunk. Just kind of slipped through, past everybody, and he was real happy. Is that the one where he was kind of screaming at the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to tell that ball about it.
Hey, the ball went to the basket. It knew what it had done.
But I think if you yell like towards somebody, it's probably technical. But like you can't get teed up for yelling at the ball.
I was wondering if you headbutt the ball. Is that like a delay a game thing? Like he got away.
I think headbutting the ball is illegal. I think.
Yeah, I think he got away with it. I did not catch any of this. I was in the wrong parts of the internet, which maybe made it the right parts of the internet. But I heard rumor that people were talking about Ty being overrated after game 1, and maybe he's not.
Bring that up later. Yeah,
I bring it up now.
What I had,
is this your stat of the week, Joe?
Sure, this is my stat of the week. There was a poll, I guess, that had gone, an anonymous poll that had gone out to NBA players, and I think of 90 responders, they had voted for Tyrese Halliburton as most overrated, and Cade Cunningham was most underrated. And so the thing is, at a size of 90, it's not a huge sample set, but still,
his peers said he's overrated, though.
Those are peers.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, they're peers, but it's but like you're gonna win with not that many votes. So anyway, that came out. I mean, I think the day of the game, and I think it's. I mean, I guess my thoughts on that were this is great bulletin board material, and I feel like since last season, Halliburton was, we know what he did last season, and we know what he did, at the Olympics, and he was clearly injured and was not who he was until December, and the team has been great since December. But the overall story and things that did happen, which you notice, are Halliburton was All NBA last year and not an All-Star this year. And I feel like it's easy for people to say, hey, this guy's not as good as we thought he was. And, still a little too much shine on this guy, too much spotlight on this guy. And I'm as a Pacers fan, I think this is great. I think it's great, like to get that bulletin board material,
Absolutely.
Because you get to go out there and say, hey, did you vote for me for most overrated? Well, here's a 3 on your head, and you can watch me from home while I'm still in the playoffs
in your Vuitton sweater.
Yeah.
Well, and as Pacer fans, we dealt with this with Reggie. He got a bunch of stuff thrown at him like this. Now that he's been retired for so long, and people have given him, his dues. But at the time,
Well, but like Reggie, one thing I worry about a lot of things in this universe, but 2 things that I never worry about are the confidences of, Reggie Miller and Tyrese Halliburton, and you can throw in Ben Mathurin too.
Right.
I'm perfectly fine guys throwing shade at him. It is factually accurate that the best basketball for a long stretch that that Holly has ever played in his career was at the beginning of last season. I mean, it was just incredible. It was MVP caliber play, and he has not been able to achieve and sustain that since. I just don't think he gets the kind of superstar MVP, treatment that kind of play would suggest anyway. So I find it hard to consider him overrated. I'm with you. I love the bulletin board material. On his worst day, he's excellent. He's got the best assist to turnover ratio in the league. All he does is make his team better every night. And that's what he cares most about. I mean, I love him for our team. I want him to get back to throwing up monster numbers, and I'm sure that he would like that every night for himself. But I know that he's just as happy if, Pascal Siakam and Neesmith and Nembhard are putting it through the hoop, and he's just throwing up 20 times. I'm sure he's perfectly happy with that. He just wants that dub on the board.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Our team is really hard to play because everyone's going to score. If you get open, that ball finds you. It zips, and that's from Halliburton. He brings that whole vibe to the table, and down the end of the stretch of game 2, we were running a lot of stuff through Nembhard, and running Tyrese off the ball. And, the ball got a little stagnant. I'm not saying Nembhard's not a great point guard and also just a really good passing shooting guard. But I don't know quite what the strategy was because it kind of slowed down our offense when they were making a run.
Yeah. I mean, he's also a third-year guy. And, he doesn't, like Halliburton just is a legit genius. Like, he's like a next level natural talent at point guard, right? Nembhard will continue to get better at running the offense, especially if he continues to get tutelage from our staff and just seeing how Halliburton does it.
He's also fearless. He took some really big shots in this game.
Right? Dude, that three he took over Giannis when we... Terrible possession. Just a terrible possession.
It was.
And he gets locked on the outside against Giannis, facing down the shot clock. And just step back triple to ice the game for us. Like, what a monster.
I thought they continued to throw the zone at us, and we were more comfortable with it, especially in the first half. It still slows us down a little bit. It takes us a couple possessions to get back into it, but we were much more ready for it this game than we were in game 1. So keep throwing that at us, Milwaukee. I mean, if that's all you got, we're all over it.
We were joking about that being the bottom of the trick bag. We didn't really see anything new in this game.
No, you were joking about it, but you might be right.
Yeah,
we did see something new. I thought that we didn't see Kyle Kuzma score any last game, and he got 12 points this game.
That's true. It was really smart of coach to tell Kuzma that he should probably score the basket sometimes. Way to go, Doc.
There's also a rumor that the team bus left him in Indiana.
Really?
Is that true?
That's I saw a couple different places report that, but that he's not on the team bus when they left. So
nice.
I think Connie put that in Slack today.
So is he just banking on them winning one in Milwaukee so they can come back and get him in Game 5?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
because if we sweep them, he just has to live in Indiana now. I think that's the rule.
At that point, I think you just got to get right. You got to get approval from the accounting team to say, hey, is this approved for me to come back or
get an Uber? That's an expensive Uber.
You get an Uber or just wait for the team bus to come back. So I mean, they got to cover a hotel or something.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, the good news is he's got a giant thumb. Nobody's going to miss that if he's hitchhiking. So.
Yeah, what's the walk from Indy to Milwaukee?
I mean, it's
dangerous.
longer than the
Yeah. Well,
not.
So we'll see if Kuzma gets back in time for Game 3 then.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he will, but if that happened,
that's hysterical.
That's wild.
These teams really don't like each other.
They don't seem to.
Not even.
There's just a lot of talking, a lot of people in each other's faces.
Did you watch any of Holly's postgame?
No.
They did ask him about the rivalry, and he was like, people complain about there being no rivalries in the NBA. Well, look, here we are, right? And I love the way that he talked about it. He didn't call anybody out. He was, hey, we're gonna fight hard. They're gonna fight hard. We know they want to win. And at the end, he's just smiling. He's like, "This is fun, man. This is what it's about." And it's just, it was really cool to see that from him, right? Like he clearly enjoys that level of competition. even if it's coming from those guys talking smack, it's a lot easier to be smiling when you're winning for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, there was on our Slack too. We posted on Pacers had posted on Twitter. Connie posted where said our bench is the best bench, and it was just clips from the game of, and it was our bench players, but also our starters when they were on the bench resting. They're so engaged. They're having so much fun, and yeah, like these are close games. This game 2 was closer, but they're having a great time, and clearly they all have each other's backs. In the first couple minutes of the game, Siakam got tangled up, and Mathurin ended up getting a technical somehow out of that, but it was also right by the Pacers bench, and so everybody was right there.
And good on the Pacers bench and coaches for not getting suspended, because it's real easy to jump off that bench.
Yeah.
And nobody did. Who wasn't supposed to.
Well, yeah. One other thing I guess about this game was this is the return of Damian Lillard. We talked about his numbers, 14 points, 4 of 13, but Harper, what did you think about his play overall? It's not Dame time right now, but is he just getting warmed up? You think he's going to be more effective in games 3 and 4?
Well, he certainly didn't seem to like it when Halliburton let him know what time it was in the fourth quarter of that game. So I expect him to come out fiery in game 3. They're going to be at home. Brook Lopez in game 2 was a much better defender around the rim. A couple notable stuffs, one against Siakam, and I'm sure he made Sports Center with that one. It was pretty good. This team is going to come out with a lot of energy. Their bench is going to play better at home. Not Portis probably, but if Kuzma makes it back in time, you can expect a much better effort from him. They're going to be really tough in game
Kevin
3.
Porter's pretty good for them.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter's also a bonehead. Like, yeah, I don't know. He, questionable, some questionable plays from him, but.
Oh, for sure. But he can score.
Yes, and you can expect him to play well at home also. Yeah. Hopefully throw less elbows at people's necks. That'd be good.
Right.
I worry about Kevin Porter Jr. and AJ Green ripping off a bunch of points real quick at home. What
about Pat Connaughton too? I mean, they've got guys.
Yeah. And Bobby Portis, and yeah.
I mean, Portis probably not going to throw up 28 again.
Probably not, but I mean, they are the best shooting 3-point team in the NBA. They don't shoot the most, but they shoot the best percentage.
They'll be better in game 3.
Yeah, you got to expect it.
The team that wins the first 2 games wins 92% of the time or something. But you can be. It's a lot. I don't know. It's probably not 92, but.
She just made that one up, did you?
I'm just making up numbers.
I like it.
But you can be sure that if they lose game 3, it's all but a wrap in this series.
Yeah.
So they're going to come out with everything that they have. I'd almost be surprised if they don't win game 3. With how staunch this rivalry is, even though we've won 6 of the last 7 playoff games against this team or something, we've been pretty dominating.
Yeah. Well, what did I hear that this was our 18th game against them in 2 seasons? Because we played them extra games because of the play-in game and stuff.
Or no, the in-season tournament. Sorry.
In-season tournament, yeah.
The in-season tournament plus the playoffs.
Yeah.
Plus they're in our
division.
They're in our division, so...
Yeah, Ty also mentioned that in his postgame. He was like, I feel like we've played each other a million times in the past 2 years, right? It's like they just... No one's throwing anything new at everybody. Everybody knows each other. You know what it is, right?
I thought Dame did a good job of keeping Nembhard busy. I mean, Nembhard is such a good defender, but he was really working his butt off to stay in front of Dame. So, maybe over a series you could start to wear down our defense if you keep Dame playing 40 minutes a night. coach go ahead and make that happen. Yeah, I expect them to. I don't expect them to just roll over. I do expect to sweep this series, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
I was gonna wait to ask this question.
Not
gonna wait to ask this question, but I'm gonna ask it now. If the Bucks don't win this series, does Doc Rivers have a job?
No.
Colson already called Doc Rivers if we win this series. If we
if we sweep it, it's over. I think if it goes 7 games and it's close, maybe they keep him because we technically had home court and they weren't expected to win the series if you go by that. But if they get swept, he's gone.
I don't know. It's always a little complicated with the coaching thing because it's all about replacement value, right? Like, what do you have versus what you can get? And in most situations, I would say that if you believe in Doc Rivers, which clearly the management of the Bucks did at the time that they hired him, they think that he's pretty damn great, regardless of what happens in any one particular series. But I think with especially with the firing of Mike Malone, there's some talent out there right now that maybe is making them think about where they're at right now. So I think it is because there's already been coaching movement. It makes it more likely that he's going to see the unemployment line.
Well, and last year the excuse was we won. The Pacers won because Giannis was hurt and then Dame was hurt. And that definitely helped us.
Well, also they were still integrating Dame, right?
Right, exactly. And still integrating Doc Rivers, if I recall. Didn't he come in mid-season?
Yeah.
So,
right before the All-Star break, I think.
Yeah. But, I mean, this year, they've got a healthy Giannis. So,
sure looks healthy.
It's hard to blame it on that anymore.
Yeah.
This might be a hot take. I don't think Giannis is the problem here.
I agree. Giannis is definitely not the problem on that team. 35 and 15 and playing great D, right?
Yeah, God, he's good.
But you can question. I mean, maybe you can question his leadership.
Yeah, I don't think you can question his drive, but maybe his leadership. But I mean, yeah,
it just seems like a poorly constructed team on some level, right? It's just like they gave up the defense in Middleton for the offense of Lillard, but it hasn't been the same for this team.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it turns out Drew Holiday is really important for basketball teams.
Also that guy.
He helps winning.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll be back with you, hopefully right after the day after the game. Next game was it Friday night?
Friday. I believe it'll be an 8 o'clock tip for you guys on the East Coast.
Okay.
So we haven't been 2-0 in a series since 2013.
I'm going to take your word for that.
I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know how to feel being up 2-0. I don't want to get too confident. I always do better when I'm convinced we're going to lose.
Well, it's going to be hilarious if we lose game 3 and you run around saying 2-1 bitches.
Fair enough.
I never thought about it going the other way.
Good call. The reason 2-1 bitches is a thing is because we're always 1-1.
And we won game 3.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's gonna be. I mean, no matter what, it's gonna be fun. Fun to watch, and
our team is playing well, and they're fun and they're likable and they like each other. Yeah, this is a fun time to be a fan. I'll tell you. I agree.
Yeah,
and I think that knowing that the winner of game 3 is almost certainly going to win the series.
If it's us.
Oh, he's like, don't scare me, Joe.
And if we win games 3 and 4, I think we're going to win.
That seems like a really, really likely thing. Maybe 92%.
Upwards of 92%.
But
teams
if
that
they go home
sweep their
and hold home
opponents.
court like they're supposed to, it's a 3-game series. And then, I think people who win a 3-game series win like 2/3 of the time or something, right?
You still miss the days of the 5-game series, don't you?
I do. I love the drama of the 5-game series. Because there were more
Not me.
upsets.
Well, I mean,
That's fine if you're the lower seed, but we ain't.
Right.
if you just want more upsets, we could just flip a coin. Is that more fun for you?
Maybe.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
If you do the coin flip in slow mo, very dramatic.
Yeah. Real slow.
We'll get Peter Jackson on this shit.
Sure. Over
So
like
much slow mo.
10 days of a slow-mo coin flip.
Well, we could do one flip as a game, and we just
Okay.
ultra slow mo. You got to have good announcers just to keep you entertained during that time.
Break it down. Yeah. A good halftime show.
Sure.
At its zenith.
Play a little basketball at halftime.
Just to change it up.
the coin flipping broke out into a basketball game.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back with you after Game 3, hopefully. Definitely after Games 3 and 4. But that is the plan as of right now. Until then, you can find us on Twitter. Jason, last show said he thought that the name was wrong, but I think it's still Twitter to me. Over at facebook.com/undebeatables. TheUndebeatables.com. There's also a contact form there. You could use that to send us a message. Shout outs at TheUndebeatables.com and our website /store for merchandise.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sick-Leonard. Turn out the lights, the party's over!
What was up with what was your stutter step? Or was that your Euro?
Well, no. I feel like Giannis has just the longest, slowest strides. It's amazing. He goes from the 3-point line and 2 steps later he's dunking on your face. And I feel like it happens in slow motion, but also really fast at the same time.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But it's also hilarious that even when he really obviously travels, he gives the Matumbo to the refs.
I didn't do that. That's ridiculous.
I like it. I mean, I think at this point it's you got to commit to the bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
because if you don't do it, then they're going to be like, well, obviously I got that right. So you have to do it every time. You got to double down forever, right?
He's created his own monster.
Yep.
That's right.
That much is true.
Oh, this is so fun. I love playoff time.
Yeah.
It's been pretty
great.
good.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good. Speaking of Cade Cunningham, that guy has looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, so I completely got this prediction wrong. I thought that Detroit was going to feel too young and get, slapped by real basketball. And then I remembered that Tom Thibodeau teams are exhausted by the time they hit the playoffs. And because they've all been playing 48 minutes a night for their entire season. And they're
like
beatable.
Underrated Cade Cunningham.
Also, he was underrated. Yeah, that's also true. So, I think I overrated the Knicks and underrated Cade Cunningham, who I wasn't even sure was a basketball player a couple years ago. So,
Yeah, he's incredibly good, it turns out. And I would
bring
love
him
to say
on.
suck it, New York, but I also hate Detroit. So
I know, that's the thing.
suck it that side of the bracket.
yeah. So we'd have to beat Cleveland and Detroit, or the Knicks would have to beat Boston for us to meet them,
Yeah, we wouldn't meet them for a while.
Yeah,
or at all.
ain't gonna happen.
Well, I mean, that's more likely, but yes.
So, am I changing my pick now and saying Detroit in 6? I think that's what I'm doing.
Is it?
I had the Knicks in a sweep, I think.
Well, now that that's gone away, do we all get to change our picks after the sweep goes away that we called?
Yeah,
I guess I'd also like to reset my picks to whatever the standings say.
Whatever
yeah.
the highest probability outcome based on the current win-losses.
Actually, what I'm going to do is after the series is over, I'm going to make my prediction, if that's all right.
Guy's a thinker. Straight shooter. Upper management written all over him.
That's why I'm your IT guy.
That's right.
It's the outside thinking like that.
Thinking outside the office.
It cut a little close to the vest, but I think it's true.
You need a better tailor.
Got it.